What's up, fam? Brandon Walker, more Cowbell, Mississippi State. The Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. We are coming to you from the SEC Country studios here in beautiful, picturesque, perfect. Looking out, and I see 7 cranes moving bricks over in Dunwoody, Georgia. So wonderful to be here. Going to have a good show today. Got a lot to talk about. Dan Mullen continues to be the coach of Mississippi State University, even though everybody with a national name by their national byline says he should go somewhere else. That's fine. Say what you want. He's at Mississippi State, going to continue to be at Mississippi State. What are we going to talk about today? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about why it's just time to flat out ignore the national media when it comes to Dan Mullen leaving Mississippi State. It's time to just ignore it. It's not easy to do, but we're going to do it anyway. We'll talk about Arkansas this weekend. A lot of people have said, they've asked me, are you worried about a letdown? Are you worried about losing to Arkansas? No, not even a little. Not even a little. I'll break that down. Could be some good news on the basketball recruiting front for Mississippi State this afternoon or tonight. A 4-star from Columbus, Mississippi, making his decision. The number 36 player in the country. Looks pretty good for the home team. And we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll debut a new segment. I didn't even tell you this, Terp. By the way, Terp's back.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Don't talk. Welcome back, Terp. Thank God.
Good to be back.
That's all I can say. Thank God. I mean, you're average at best, but boy, yesterday I was yearning.
Struggling. Welcome to my world.
I was yearning for average yesterday. So, we'll debut today's top 5. I'll do a top 5 list every single day of topics that you give me. You give me a topic on Twitter at bwalker_SEC, and I will give you a top 5 on that topic. Today's topic, well, I'll tell you in the podcast. And then, at the end of the show, we'll have a shot of Jack. How about 2 shots of Jack?
Yeah.
2 shots. Dynamite drop in there, buddy. 2 shots of Jack today to close the show. We're going to have a good time. Let's see who we got here before we get started with the podcast. How many we got? 107, 106? Well, that's a disappointing number compared to yesterday, but maybe they'll get here. Sheila Wyndham Shepherd is here, and she says, obviously, the national media does not understand the meaning of loyalty. Agreed. Kenny Manning says, will there be a bedtime story today? No. Lewis Williamson says the Giants and Maryland both lost again. Terp?
In fact, they did.
They did. They very much did. Tom Farley checking in from Jackson. Lynn Rhodes-Gilmer checking in from Sulligent, Alabama. It's not unfortunate, Lynn Rhodes-Gilmer. Sulligent's a beautiful place. Maybe. I've never actually been there. I know where it is. Actually, I think I did go through Sulligent one time, going to Decatur. Hello from Houston, Mississippi. Hello, Robert Brassfield, home of the Hilltoppers. Matt Weisinger is dropping off early today, and that is not okay. Do not ever come back, Matt. This is it. We're breaking up with you. It's not you, it's us. Just can't. If you can't handle a couple of minutes talking with us, then just go. Just go. All right? Just get out. I'm kidding. Whatever you got to do. Davie County, North Carolina is here. Memphis is here. Andre Shigog, thanks. Meridian, Barlow, McGee today. Alexandria, Louisiana. Checking in from Reynoldsburg, Ohio. I haven't seen Timothy Giles here before, so thanks. Raleigh, North Carolina is here. Steve Brummett. Laurel, Mississippi, down in Jones County, the free state of Jones. Good to see everybody. Dallas is checking in. Carolyn Crane Lindley. Thank you. Butch Bailey is here, which means Hattiesburg. The warden says hello. Lewis checking in from Rankin County Correctional Facility this morning. Thank you for being here. Greenwood, 2 in a row. Ashland, Mississippi, up there in the northeast corner of the state. Rusty Ray's on the road in Tunica. All right, so we got everybody here, 130. That's a good number. We'll talk about Dan Mullen to Tennessee and why it's ridiculous. We'll talk about good news on the recruiting front for Mississippi State. In basketball, we'll talk about why you shouldn't be worried about a letdown at Arkansas. We'll have the debut of today's top 5, and we'll do a shot of Jack, 2 shots of Jack, at the end of the show. Should be fun. Should be a good time had by all. or at least a good time had by me, and I think we all know that's what counts. That's what counts. Terp, you ready?
Sí.
Don't. Just
A little Spanish today.
Just say yes or no. Are you ready?
Sí.
You tried to think of another language, didn't you? I saw it in your head. You were like, I'll say it in another language. You couldn't think of another language.
I'll get one soon.
We. You could have said we. You could have said, no, that's all. That's all three. Yes, see, and we. That's all I know. That's it. That's it. That's all I got.
Yes, I'm ready.
You are ready.
Yes.
Okay. This has been a long way to go. Let's just go. Let's just get there. Play the music, please. That's me, Brandon Walker. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Good to be here. They're telling me the music on Facebook, they can't hear the sound anymore on Facebook Live, Terp. So fix the sound on Facebook Live, please. I don't think they heard the music. So I don't know what you did, but this has been an outstanding start to the podcast. Welcome, Brandon Walker. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Coming to you from the SEC Country Studios in beautiful Dunwoody, Georgia. So happy to be here. We're going to talk about a lot today. Going to talk about Dan Mullen to Tennessee and why you should get that out of your head. Why national media refuses to get it out of their head. We'll talk about Arkansas. Are you worried about a letdown? You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be worried. Somebody said you dancing to no music is not a good look. I can imagine it, but I think the sound's good. Can I get a thumbs up out there on Facebook Live? Is the sound good now? Is the sound okay? If we got that thumbs up. So we march on. We'll also talk about Robert Woodard, a 4-star from Columbus, Mississippi in basketball, who is committing tonight. And from all signs, it looks like it could be good news for the home team. What does that mean? We'll talk about it. We'll debut a new segment on the show, today's Top 5. I will take to Twitter at bwalker_SEC. You hit me up on Twitter or email, however you want to send it on Facebook here on SEC Country. You send me a topic, any topic. Can be best ice cream flavors, can be best Mississippi State coaches of all time, can be anything in the world. And I'll pick one each day and do a top 5 list on it. I've already got my top 5 list for today. It's going to be fun. And at the end of the show, we're going to have a shot of Jack. I think you all know what that means. I think you all know what this show is about. And I'm going to go ahead and make it 2 shots of Jack just because that's how good I'm feeling. Who couldn't use 2 shots of Jack over lunch? Anybody? You? Of course you could. You work with me, so why wouldn't you? Before we go any further, let's talk about the holidays coming up. Holiday cash, you need it, and I know where to get it. MyBookie is the place to score serious cash for your sports predictions. That means plenty of parties, gifts, and spending the holidays coming up. It also means there's lots of football, basketball, and other sports you can score big on every day. Man up and play like the pros on game day. You can play the money line, the side, or the total. MyBookie is your hookup for all your betting needs and offers super fast payouts when you win. I trust them, but you don't have to take my word for it. Check them out for yourself. Where you bet is just as important as who you're betting on, and if you want to make money betting on the games, you got to go to mybookie.ag. They're the only site I'd recommend. Join now, and MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use the promo code Cowbell. That's Cowbell. That's my show. To activate your offer, visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. So Dan Mullen, I guess, is going to have to come out at the 50-yard line at Davis Wade Stadium, take an orange sweatshirt or a Davy Crockett coonskin cap and set it on fire to get the message to people that he's not going to Tennessee, that Dan Mullen's not going to be the next coach at Tennessee. The man in his press conferences, he talks about the job he has, how much he loves it, how much he's happy here, and I believe him. And I have no reason not to believe him. I see a product he's building. I see a program he's building. And I see no reason for somebody like Dan Mullen to leave Mississippi State to go to Tennessee. And I don't think he sees a reason to go to Tennessee. But if you look around in the national media, even regional media, you talk about the guys at CBS like Dennis Dodd. I think Barrett Sallee had a topic like that. The Dan Mullen to Tennessee onslaught is in full gear. It is in full gear. And let me clarify. Dennis Dodd wrote, Dan Mullen, now's your time. You need to go to a better job, so go to Tennessee or somewhere else. And I have a huge problem with that story. Barrett Sallee said Tennessee would be smart to target Dan Mullen. I have no problem with that. Tennessee would be smart to target Dan Mullen. Tennessee should view Dan Mullen as a candidate for its job. But I see no reason Dan Mullen should view Tennessee as a candidate for his services. I see no reason. Listen, Tennessee was a great job in 1997. A great job in 1997. You know what else was great in 1997? The Backstreet Boys. Austin Powers movies. Pagers. Anybody else have a pager in 1997? I did. It was clear. Gateway Computers was awesome in 1997. Would you ask anybody to manage a Gateway computer store now? No, you wouldn't. That'd be a step back career-wise. You think somebody's rushing out to go to a Backstreet Boys concert tonight? Probably not. They're not even the boys anymore. They're the Backstreet Men. So why would you go? Why would you go to Tennessee, which is 20 years past its expiration date, which has allowed other schools to pass it by, which has given up its national recruiting footprint? Yes, it mattered in 1997. Yes, it mattered in the early 2000s. But once it lost it, it's in a football-poor state. It's got a delusional fan base. And it has given ground to others around the region. You know who Tennessee is now? You know who 1997 Tennessee is now? It's Clemson. Clemson has stepped up, and they're getting guys out of Florida and Georgia and supplementing what they've got in state. And they're competing for national titles. Clemson's not giving that up anytime soon. You're dealing with a fan base that's obsessed with getting John Gruden out of the Monday Night Football booth. Yeah, that's a rational group. That's a group that's thinking correctly. That's a group that knows its place in life. Before I go any further, I just want to say this. Is Tennessee a better job than Mississippi State? Yeah, probably. Yeah. But the gap isn't nearly what it used to be, and that's because of Dan Mullen. The gap isn't nearly what it used to be. Why would you leave Mississippi State to go to the seventh best job in the SEC? At best, the seventh best job in the SEC. And the question I've never been able to get answered from anybody, whether it's a media guy, whether it's somebody in this company, whether it's anybody, anywhere. If Tennessee is such a great job, if Tennessee is such a great destination for somebody like Dan Mullen, why are their last three hires Lane Kiffin, Derek Dooley, and Butch Jones? How come every time they hang a hiring now sign out, they get the dregs of college football? They get an embarrassment. They get a clown. Answer me that question. You tell me how a program that can't do any better than Lane Kiffin, Derek Dooley, and Butch Jones can all of a sudden hire Dan Mullen, who's up and coming, who's building a program at State, who is going to go 9-3 this year. You tell me how they're all of a sudden, they couldn't get a Power 5 coach last time. They couldn't get a Power 5 coach the time before that. They're going to get an SEC coach this time? How does that work? Here's the truth about it all. This wave of money, the SEC network money, this crush of money that has come in college football the last 20 years, it has eliminated a lot of separation between programs like Mississippi State and Tennessee. Would I rank Tennessee ahead of Mississippi State on the job scale? I would. But the separation just isn't really there anymore. You can make a ton of money as a coach at Mississippi State. You can get big-time recruits as a coach at Mississippi State. You can coach in huge football games at Mississippi State. We just saw one. Maybe there was a time you had to go somewhere else, but we don't live in that time anymore. And these facts I just told you, the national media really refuses to see. They refuse to believe somebody can be happy in Starkville. They refuse to believe somebody can enjoy being at Mississippi State. Well, I've got 9 years of proof that somebody does. I've got nearly a decade of proof that somebody likes being there. You can ignore it. You can look orange. You can look to the west. You can look to the east. You can say he's going to Florida, and then when that doesn't happen, oh, well, he's going to Tennessee. You can say all of that. But Dan Mullen's built Mississippi State into a much more stable position. And he is loaded for 2018. Fact. Absolute fact. All of this talk about Mullen to wherever, it never comes directly from Dan Mullen, ever. It comes from outside media sources. The same guys who 2 weeks ago told you he'd be going to Florida, the same guys who are now telling you he could be going to Tennessee, are the same guys who in 2 weeks will be saying he's going to Texas A&M, and 2 weeks after that will be saying he's going to UCLA, and 2 weeks after that will be saying he's going to the New York Giants. Well, I'm saying he's going to be coaching in Starkville next year. Anybody want to take that bet? Terp, you want to take that bet? Of course you don't. Don't answer. It was a rhetorical question. It just gets frustrating, you know? I'm a Mississippi State fan. I never pretend to be anything but a Mississippi State fan. And when a team like Mississippi State goes to number 1, goes to the Orange Bowl, when a team like Mississippi State puts itself in position to go 9-3 this year and gives Alabama hell the other night, when a team like Mississippi State does that, usually that team will get glowing articles about its program and how it's built it up from the ground up and how it's arrived. But here in Starkville, we get articles from Dennis Dodd saying, Dan Mullen, you need to leave right now. Nobody else gets that. It's frustrating. I understand that, Mississippi State fans. It's frustrating. I get frustrated too. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. State has a very good coach who's not going anywhere, and Tennessee can hire whoever they want to wear that god-awful orange because it ain't Dan Mullen. Arkansas up next from Mississippi State. I'm out here preaching today, Terp. Feeling good. Arkansas up next from Mississippi State. Does this scare you? As a Mississippi State fan, does it scare you? Are you worried about a letdown? Now, that's a natural emotion coming off something so high as the Alabama game, coming off a 31-24 loss in the last seconds. Obviously, it's hard to bounce back after that against a team who's not very good. But does it scare you? Because if it does, sit down, let your friend Brandon Walker talk to you for a second. I just need to explain some things. I just need to ask you, what scares you about it? Is it Arkansas giving up 50 to Texas A&M? Is it Arkansas giving up 48 points to South Carolina? Is it Arkansas giving up 38 points to Coastal Carolina? How about 33 to LSU, who we held to 7 points? Does that scare you? Is it the fact that Arkansas is dead last in the SEC in scoring defense, 36 points a game? Does that scare you? Does that bother you? Their rushing defense is 11th in the league, 200 yards a game. Passing defense, 11th in the league, 230 a game. Does any of this scare you? No, of course not, right? So get it out of your head. Don't worry about a letdown. The fact is, Arkansas is so bad, a letdown can happen, and State could still win comfortable. The concerns for a letdown, I admit, are legitimate. The old saying is that you don't let a team beat you twice, in this case, Alabama. But that's an old saying, and this isn't an old Mississippi State team. This is different. State's going to go into Arkansas. They're going to handle business. They're going to come back Thanksgiving night against Ole Miss. They're going to handle business. And this is a 9-3 team headed to a very sunny bowl in Florida. Enjoy it. The next 2 weeks are going to be fun. Going to be a great ride. That's all I have to say about that. Robert Woodard is a 4-star basketball prospect out of Columbus, Mississippi. A 4-star basketball prospect out of Columbus. He's been on the radar of Mississippi State for 3 years now. 6'6", 200 pounds. Rated the number 36 player in the country by ESPN. He can play the 3. He can play the 2. He's very versatile. I think he's like a switchblade. He can do pretty much anything out there. He's a very good passer, too. I'm not sure he's a natural scorer. I've seen him about 5 times in person. He can score, but I wouldn't say he's just somebody that's going to walk into college and score 20 a game. The number 1 player in Mississippi this year. And he's committing tonight. He's committing Tuesday night to somewhere. It's either Memphis, Ole Miss, Alabama, or Mississippi State. And I can pretty much tell you, not with certainty, but I feel really confident that Robert Woodard is going to join the Mississippi State 2018 recruiting class. I feel really confident Robert Woodard is going to be headed to Mississippi State. His dad played there, graduated in 1990, I believe. Richard Williams enjoyed coaching him so much, he named the Robert Woodard Hustle Award after him, given away at the end of the season in the basketball banquet every year. That's the kind of stock he comes from. He comes from a great Bulldog family, a guy who played so hard he had a Hustle Award named after him, and this kid plays the same way. He's a Bulldog. He is a warrior. He is somebody that does every single thing needed to do on a basketball court to win a basketball game. State already has 2 high-profile guys signed. Reggie Perry, number 16 player in the country out of Thomasville, Georgia, 6'9" power forward. DJ Stewart out of Greenville, Mississippi, 4-star shooting guard. And now if you add Woodard to the mix, you add in 3 more big-time 4- and 5-star guys to a program who's gotten nothing but 4- and 5-star guys the last 2 or 3 years. I don't know when the breakthrough in basketball is coming, but if recruiting keeps going like this, it can't help but come. It can't not come. You can't not become a very good basketball team with the talent you're bringing in. Every year that goes by, the ones we already have there, the Tyson Carters of the world, the Eli Wrights, are getting more experience. They're getting better. The Lamar Peters of the world, they're getting bigger. They're getting better. It just, the basketball team's on its way back. And it's been slower than any of us wanted, but it's happening. And it's happening through recruiting, and it's happening through Howland's coaching. I don't know what this year holds, but I know this is a terrific class being built, and if Woodard joins it today, it's over the top. It's really, really good. That's definitely something to watch tonight. Today's top 5. Every day you can hit me up on Twitter at @bwalker_SEC. I want you to give me a topic. And then I'll take it to my show and I'll do a top 5 list. Since we've already started talking about Mississippi State basketball, the debut edition today will be the top 5 Mississippi State basketball players ever. And I'm going to revise it just a bit. I'm going to say the top 5 Mississippi State basketball players of my lifetime. Because I think it goes without saying that Bailey Howell is the greatest Mississippi State basketball player of all time. He just is. Any list you would come up with would have that answer. But I never saw Bailey Howell play. I never went to the Hump and watched Bailey Howell play, or McCarthy Gym, whatever he played in. I never saw him play. But I did see everybody on this list play. And I did experience their highs. I did experience the Final Four. I experienced everything. So this is the top 5 Mississippi State basketball Bulldogs of my lifetime. And another caveat, Mississippi State basketball is my favorite sport at our school. I've loved it from the beginning. My favorite team ever at our school is 1990-91 SEC champion. So here we go. Here's who did not make the list. This was admittedly a very tough list to get on. There's some good players that did not make the list. Jarvis Bernardo did not make the list. All-time shot blocking king in college basketball didn't make it. Greg Carter on that 91 team didn't make it. Lawrence Roberts on the 2004 team that went 25-2 did not make it. Jeff Malone played in the NBA for 10 years. Great scorer at Mississippi State. But he did it when I was like 3 years old. I didn't see it. Didn't make the list. Jamont Gordon didn't make the list. So here's who did make the list. Today's top 5, brought to you by Brandon Walker's Top 5. We'll get that sponsored at some point. Hey, Mossy Oak, looking at you. Number 5, guy that graduated in 91, played on the SEC championship team. Forward Cameron Burns. Cameron Burns was 6'7", or he was listed at 6'7". I think he was more like 6'5". Would dunk on anybody. Was a great player. Hit 2 free throws to force overtime against Ole Miss that year to win 84-80 in overtime. Cameron Burns is one of my favorite players to ever watch play at Mississippi State University. He wasn't that big, but he played big. He went toe-to-toe with guys like Shaquille O'Neal and Stanley Roberts at LSU. And he was 6'6", something like that. Was not a big guy. Quiet. Just played basketball. He was a warrior. I love Cameron Burns. I love everything about watching Cameron Burns play basketball. Number 4, Timmy Bowers. Timmy Bowers from the 2003-2004 team. Timmy Bowers, you know who he is. I chose him over Lawrence Roberts because Timmy came to Mississippi State out of high school, and Timmy just had big shots. And he hit the shot to win the SEC championship in 2004. You were never out of a game when Timmy Bowers was on your side. You were never beaten when Timmy Bowers was on your side. He was just a winner. He would dunk on you. He'd hit a 3 over you. And I loved everything about watching Timmy Bowers play basketball. So you're wondering where the top 3 coming from, and they're all on the same team. Because, frankly, we have one team that went to the Final Four. We have one team that got very close to a national championship or playing for a national title. So the question is, what order are they in? Well, number 3 is Dante Jones. Dante Jones, who made it possible for State to go to the Final Four. Dante Jones, who once he got his legs under him and became the player we all thought he would be about halfway through that season, State became nearly unbeatable. He came in with a lot of hype. Played well at times, played not so well at times, and State was kind of middling there for a while. But once he got going, State got going. He was the key to everything. And he was gigantic in the NCAA tournament, gigantic in the run to the Final Four. Number 2, Eric Dampier. Number 2 in the list of my favorite basketball players of my lifetime, Eric Dampier. The big man on that team, played 12 years in the NBA, maybe even longer. Actually, definitely longer, 15 years in the NBA. Eric Dampier was great. Eric Dampier was another warrior. He and Russell Walters dominated down low. They were very physical. You had to pack a lunch when you tried to score against that team. Eric Dampier was very good. He would dunk on you. I loved Eric Dampier. So I think we all know, or you should know, who's number 1 then. I did not come to this decision lightly. The Brandon Walker committee on the top 5 is very serious about this. The Brandon Walker top 5 committee is compensated very, very heavily, paid very well, and they came up with this answer. So the number 1 basketball player of all time at Mississippi State in my lifetime is Darrell Wilson, the shooting guard for Mississippi State in the 96 NCAA tournament for the 96 team. That guy just hit threes at will, hit big shots. Dante is really what got it going, but Darrell Wilson is the engine that kept it going the whole year. Darrell Wilson was just a weapon, a great player, a great shooter, and if you ever sat in the hop and watched him just pound threes from 20, 25 feet, you'll never forget it. I think Darrell Wilson is my favorite Mississippi State basketball player of my lifetime. I'll go to Facebook Live right now, see what they have to say. Maybe they agree, maybe they don't. Jay Hammer says, no doubt, great list. Grace Thacker Good says Bailey Howell. And Grace, I told you at the beginning. I told you at the beginning what this was. So everybody seems to agree. Most people seem to agree. A couple don't, but that's fine. That's fine. That's what these top 5 lists are for. You can hit me up on Twitter at @bwalker_SEC. You can give me a top 5 topic for tomorrow. I have about 30 stored up. Some of them are like favorite fast food chains. Some of them are good. Favorite egg bowls. I think that'll be coming up. We'll do that every single day now. From now on, we'll do a top 5 list, and I'll have a good time. Buck Hutchins says Shane Power. I thought about Shane. I thought about Winsome Frazier. A lot of guys in the 90s and 2000s that could have made this list. A lot of guys that could have made this list. But ultimately, I like the 5 that I came up with. Ultimately, I love the 5 I came up with. But you know what I love even more than coming up with top 5 lists? You know what I love even more than talking about Dan Mullen? I love Jack Crystal. That's who I love. That's what I love. That's what I'm about. I don't know what you're about, but I'm about Jack Crystal. And I know the man passed away, the legend passed away 3 years ago, but he lives on in this show. And we like to, every now and then, hark back to Jack Crystal. He was the greatest that ever touched a microphone in college football. He was the greatest that ever did this. There are other guys that get a lot of acclaim. They couldn't touch Jack Crystal. You know it. I know it. They knew it. Jack Crystal, the greatest of all time. We're playing Arkansas this week. So I decided to go to the archives and see what we had from Jack Crystal against Arkansas. Terp, you ready? That is probably a yes. Terp, roll the first clip.
First set of downs for Michael Hennig and his offensive unit.
Michael Hennig.
Arkansas in a six-man front. Hennig straight ahead, gives it to Dixon, finds a hole, breaks in the secondary, races down the sideline to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown for Anthony Dixon.
Boy, he saw the open field, and the big guy showed you that he's got a motor and it'll run pretty well because he outran the Arkansas secondary. Bulldogs had it on the 35. They respond with a big play offensively. A 65-yard touchdown run by Anthony Dixon.
I love everything about Jack Crystal. Well, that almost started off bad when you said Mike Hennig. I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen? What's going to happen here? But that's Anthony Dixon running for a touchdown against Arkansas. There's another thing I love in this world. That's Anthony Dixon. I love Jack Crystal. I love Anthony Dixon. That's just two facts about me. But Jack calling a touchdown run is as classic as it gets. It is as classic as it gets. It's vintage Mississippi State. Is vintage Jack Crystal. Let's go ahead and roll into clip number 2, Terp.
Bulldogs go again to the shotgun formation. Arkansas in a 4-3 defense. Hennig waiting for the snap, grabs it, stays on the ground, gives it to Dixon, who plunges it off the right side for about 5 up near the 35-yard line. Arkansas's Keith Jackson and Sam Alajabutu again on the tackle. I wish somebody would make a tackle instead of Alajabutu. It's hard to say his name.
Well,
yeah, that's another element you're going to get with Jack Crystal. Classic, honest, funny. He was he was great with a one-liner, and that was a very classic one-liner there. Sam Alajabutu. See, I don't even know how to say it. But clearly that was a great one-liner by Jack Crystal. Okay, Facebook Live, I'm coming right back to you. Get your topics ready. We'll talk in about 3 minutes. We'll talk till 12:30, 11:30 your time. We'll have a good time. You can join me every day on Facebook Live. Go to Facebook and go to SEC Country Mississippi State. Go to SEC Country's Mississippi State page. You can join me on Facebook Live every single morning, or you can keep listening to the podcast. That works too. For the podcast, I'll be back tomorrow. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. All right, let's get back to this basketball list because I saw some of you agree, some of you disagreed. Let's see, it was Cameron Burns. It was who was 4? Timmy Bowers, Dante Jones, Eric Dampier, and Darrell Wilson. Did anybody have a problem with that? Did anybody have any issue? Did anybody think I missed somebody? Who did I miss? Let me know. Jonathan Philly says, I'm definitely ready to hear your top 5 Egg Bowls. Yeah, I'm ready to do that. I almost did that one today, but I think I'm going to wait till next week because next week's the Egg Bowl. So I'll have to come up with a top 5 list. I got a list of about 30 or 40 that you guys gave me last night. Some are really good. Some are goofy. Some are stupid. Probably going to do all of them. Junior Ray says, Jeff Malone, Eric Dampier, Dante Jones, Rick Narr, and Timmy Bowers. I don't even know who Rick Narr is. Women's top 5. They'd probably all be on the team right now. Although I guess LaToya Thomas was the number 1 pick in the WNBA. Shane Power is number 1 on the best hair list, possibly. Mario Austin, Justin Burford says, I thought about Mario Austin. I thought about him. But I left Lawrence Roberts off, and I think Lawrence was better than Austin. So no one since the 94 team, no players in the last 24 years. Timmy Bowers was 2004, 2005. And all the other 3 were 96, not 94. Throw in a top 5 Ole Miss excuses for NCAA troubles. I said top 5, not 5,000. Request for the Egg Bowl week on the shot of Jack, the one where his sonic drive of the game was going to be his drive home. You still got the Jack list up? Did you close the Jack list?
I can get it up if you want me to.
Let me get the Jack list up real quick. Jarvis Bernardo. Anyone's list that doesn't include Darrell Wilson would be wrong. You got it right, Brandon. Thank you. Jamont Gordon. Thought about Jamont Gordon. Definitely thought about him. Great player. Great player. There were a lot of really good players from Mississippi State in the 90s and 2000s. A ton of them. A ton of them. Has a kickoff time been announced for the Egg Bowl yet? Yes, 6:30 Thanksgiving night. 6:30 Thanksgiving night. It has been announced. And I will not be coming to Mississippi for Thanksgiving. I've decided that as well. So I'll be doing a pregame and a postgame Facebook Live, but I won't be coming to Mississippi for the Egg Bowl. Top 5 reasons why Dan Mullen wants to leave state. Buck Hutchins. Probably not going to do that one either. The Sonic drive for Jack was 2003 against Alabama because we didn't get past our own 40. So it says, you got it? You know what? Let's just do it. You request something on this show, you're going to get it. Terp, give it to me.
It's time for the Sonic Drive of the game, brought to you by your hometown Sonic Drive-Ins of Mississippi. The Sonic Drive-In, America's favorite drive-in. And perhaps, as far as I'm concerned, the drive of the game may be my drive home from Starkville to Tupelo. And hopefully it'll be an uneventful drive.
You know where you go through to go from Starkville to Tupelo? Can you take a guess?
Nope.
You can't. You can't take a guess. You can't take one guess. It's not okay. Yes, Tupelo's where Elvis was born, but fine. That's not what we're talking about. You have to drive through Point City. You have to drive right by my house to get from Starkville to Tupelo. West Point,
Nice.
yes. Jack Crystal was the best, and that I believe you're correct. I think it was 2003 when Alabama beat Mississippi State 38-0. I think you're exactly right. That was the Sonic drive of the game. That was classic humor, classic sarcasm, and a bit of truth. We all felt like that. And Jack Crystal would tell you what he felt, and it usually mirrored what we felt. Thank you, Grace Thacker. Good. Point City, Terp. Point City. What's wrong with you? Were you sick yesterday?
No.
Good. Steve C says, awesome. Thank you, Steve. Steve C, right here. That's Steve. Going to ring the bell for Steve, and I'll ring Bonnie's bell. There we go. How about that? You drive right past the Pony. Well, you shouldn't drive past the Pony. You should go Old West Point Road and take that shortcut. Always do that. But I guess technically you do drive past the Pony. Speaking of Point City, they need to do something about those red lights on Highway 45 at 11 p.m. after football games. I didn't do anything, all right? It ain't my fault. You just need to know the way around. There's ways around, buddy. You don't need to be sitting in those red lights. You need to go around. You can go left or right. Either way. Did your family ban you from Thanksgiving? They did not. They did not. Thank you very much for that pleasant thought. That's a very nice thing to say. But no, Grace Thacker, good. I just don't want to go. I don't want to drive. I got 4 kids. It's tough. Ocean City is here. Thank you, Blake Haley. Steve C says, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. Terp, you ever been to the Pony?
What?
Nothing. In 2004, they asked what the attendance should be called in a football game versus UAB. Jack overheard and told them to go and take his mic and introduce every person because there were that few people. Classic Jack. And we don't have that one. We don't have that one. Donald Grantham asked if I've answered the phone for my mom or grandmother yet. No, I've not. I told you it's going to be at least a week before I talk to them. I can't talk to them during or after Alabama week. So if somebody back home dies, I just won't find out. I'll have to send flowers late. I'll send them later because I'm not talking to them. I'm not dealing with that Alabama crap. I'm not dealing with it. How do you grow up in Mississippi? No, not my mom and grandmother. They do have ties to Alabama. But how do you grow up in Mississippi and root for Alabama? Can somebody tell me that? Like in the Summer Olympics, do you root for Germany? I just don't understand. When you go to the Little League game for your kid, do you root for somebody else's kid? How does that work? How do you root for Alabama if you grew up in Mississippi and you have no ties to the school? Somebody explain that to me. I've never had a good explanation for that. Andy Young is in Lakeland, Florida. Hello, Andy. Thank you for joining the show. How bad do we beat Arkansas this weekend? Jay Hammers asked. I'm going to say 35-13, 35-14, somewhere in there. Not like 50-point victory, but a comfortable victory, something like Texas A&M was. Hail State from Meridian. Thank you, Scott Murphy Vaughn, for being here. Jason Sherman just says they're bandwagon fans. Kevin Wright says 45-24. I don't think Arkansas is scoring 24 points. I don't think Arkansas is going to score 24. Odds of over 325 yards rushing against Arkansas. 325. Let's see, 100 from Aries, 100 from Nick. No, probably not 325. We'll throw it a little bit, too, because they can't stop anything. Scott Murphy Vaughn says he's fixing to go see Steve Robertson here for a book signing. Well, that's your fault. If you have nothing better to do in your afternoon than go see Steve Robertson, that's your fault, okay? Tell Steve I said hello. Didn't Arkansas quarterback get a DUI? Well, their backup quarterback did. Stephanie Swafford Horton. Their backup did. Austin Allen is back. He played the other day. Played poorly, but he played. So I think Cole Kelly was already relegated to backup. And he did get a DUI, yes. At 8:45 in the morning. He got pulled over for DUI at 8:45 in the morning. How does that happen? I mean, shouldn't you already be sleeping it off by 8:45? Terp, by 8:45, aren't you already recovering? Are you recovering right now? Is Terp okay? He has no idea I'm talking to him, does he?
I'm editing your thing.
I just had a 3-minute conversation with you, and you had no idea I was talking to you.
No, because I'm listening to your podcast and editing it and working. What were we talking about?
That old excuse. Nothing. Fred Harley says, I'm so glad you said that because I can't figure out how you can live or be born in Mississippi and like Alabama. Hashtag bandwagoner fans because they win a lot is my only guess. So, yeah, that's because Alabama wins is why they get so many bandwagon fans. But, I mean, get bandwagon fans from the state of Alabama who have no intention to go to college. I just don't understand how you grow up in Columbus or Meridian or Yazoo City or Vicksburg or wherever you grow up in Mississippi. I don't understand what tells you, hey, you know what's great? The state next to us. How does that happen? How do you do that? How do you put that A on your truck or your shirt? I don't like Ole Miss, but at least they got it honest. At least they're from Mississippi. They're rooting for – they've chosen the wrong home state school, but they've chosen one. Did they order you custom-fit headphones? Oh, Matt Wyatt's here, everybody. Good to see Matt Wyatt. Hard to read that from the glare on his picture, but he is here regardless. Thank you, Matt, for checking in. You guys know Matt Wyatt. He hosts a radio show on statewide radio that features Ole Miss every single day. So good for him. Good for him. Big Ole Miss fan, that guy. Can we give Stingray back to Alabama? See, you guys are going to get me in trouble. You already got me talking to Matt Wyatt. Now you want to talk. Now you want me to say something about Stingray. We do need to check the receipt on that, though. Can we get a return? Is there a return policy? Oh, we're at 12:28. Terp, y'all getting the music ready to play me out of here?
Yep.
See how you are? Matt Wyatt says, when you get a haircut, do you tell them square? When you get a haircut, do you tell them, oh, wait, it was 20 years ago. I haven't had hair since 1998. Sorry. My bad. Sorry, Matt. Sorry. Woo! Earlier in the show, I was talking about things that were relevant in 97, like Tennessee football and Backstreet Boys and pagers and Austin Powers. Matt Wyatt's hairline now joins the conversation. Sorry, no. Everybody calm down. Not funny. It's kind of funny. Matt's my guy, though. Like Matt. Big fan of Matt. Steve C. says Matt's just mad he has to ride through Point City for every home game. I may have gotten an angry text from Matt Wyatt like at midnight Saturday night saying, why is there a traffic jam in West Point? I don't know. I wasn't there. Most of Mississippians that follow Alabama only follow football. They cannot tell you anything about the other sports. Pitiful. Correct. Sean Parker says when he goes to get a haircut, Matt Wyatt says 2 coats of polish, please. Wow. That's not funny. Everybody calm down. Man. Good stuff. Thanks, Matt, for being here. Hey, Matt. You've never invited me on your show. Do you understand that? I've invited you on my show. You have never invited me on your show. You know what I would do. You know I'd probably get banned after one appearance. That's fine, but at least give me that one appearance. Why have I not ever been on your show? Somebody tell me why I've never been on head-to-head radio. Any good reason. And don't play me off. I gotta see this to the finish. Where'd Matt go? Where did Matt go? Matt, I'm waiting on you. He went away? You think he went away?
There's always a delay between you and Facebook.
Oh, I see. Okay, I understand. Don't holler at me. All right, just waiting on this delay. No headphones big enough. The headphones are big enough. All right, I got them right here. Let's see. Yeah. I'm good. I got to go text Matt. Now I'm going to go call Matt. He's got me fired up. All right. You can play me off, Johnny. Who's Johnny? Are you going to play me off or what?
Am I Johnny now?
Somebody play the dang music.
I'll play in like 8 seconds.
I missed yesterday when you weren't here. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. Whoa! There it is. Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. 10:45 a.m. Central Time. We'll have fun. We'll have a good time. Give me your top 5 ideas. Get them to me at bwalker_SEC. Till next time, you've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.